class, welcome to today's segment whereby we shall be discussing ways to spice up your speech in IELTS Speaking Test. So let us get right into it. One way you can spice up your speech is by making use of sentence connectors. I'll give you an example. For example, if you're trying to give an idea, you can use words such as, in my view, as a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. You see, these words spice up your speech. For example, you're asked a question and then you say, in my view, I think that this is a very crucial topic in today's society. Or you say something like, as far as I'm concerned, I think farming is better than formal employment. See? So guys, please note down these sentence connectors. You can also use on top of that also what's more, to add on to that, to give additional ideas during your speech. For example, you've already talked about a certain subject, but you want to add more information in regards to that subject. You can use something like, on top of that, education is the key to success. Or you say that, what's more, farming is preferable to education since farming contributes largely to the GDP of the country. Something like that. If you want to contrast an idea, you can also use words such as but, mind you, that said, however, I also think. So these are words stroke collection of words that spice up your speech so that it shows the examiner that you have a wide range of vocabulary. Okay. You can mix simple and complex ideas and sentences, but not too many complex sentences that it seems too unnatural. Guys, as I said, the way you speak to the examiner should be the same way you speak to a colleague or a friend. So, naturally, when you speak to a friend, you usually don't use the most complex sentences, each like a complex word after a complex word, a complex word after a complex word, or a connector after a connector. You use them once in a while. So let there not be a case whereby after every word you're using a complex word, after the complex word you've used a connector. Okay, let me think of an example. For example, however, it is very, very crucial that I'm trying to think of complex words. It's very crucial. No, I'm flabbergasted that education is not mandatory for each student in our versatile Kenya, like our great country Kenya, which is in the center of East Africa's economy. Like, come on, those are not like words or sentences you can normally speak to a friend using. So guys, okay, you can have complex words here and there, but not throughout. It will seem too unnatural because the speaking test is testing your natural speaking ability. Okay. You can also try to spice up your speech by using different tenses. You can use tenses such as past tense, present participle, past participle, and current tense. For example, one paragraph can have different tenses. For example, currently I school at Kenyatta University, but previously I used to school at Maseno University. In the future, I shall enroll to Business School London. So you see, those three sentences have different tenses. One has present tense, the other one has past participle, the other one has future tense. You get what I mean? So this shows your examiner that you have an understanding of tenses in the English language. But this will come naturally if you have practiced. So the more you practice, the more you'll see that it's easy to use many tenses, and the more you explain your answer, the easier it will be for you to use different tenses. Because remember, as you're explaining your answer, most of the time you'll explain your answer in relation to what happened in the past, what will happen in the future, or what is currently happening. So this will give you a chance to use different tenses in your answering. You can also make use of idiomatic phrases, e.g., I was just chilling, to mean I was relaxing. You can also say something like, that's crazy, meaning that's unusual. Or use an idiom such as, that is so out of the world, meaning it's very, very unusual. So please feel free to use idiomatic phrases, but I'll repeat, not after every sentence there's an idiomatic phrase. Just use them once in a while. Or something like, that is an event that happens once in a blue moon. So that's an idiomatic phrase. Idiomatic phrases mean phrases that at face value they mean another, they seem to mean one thing, but in reality they mean another thing. Something like once in a blue moon, if you're not familiar with the English language, you'll wonder, what does once in a blue moon mean? But if you're familiar with the English language, it will mean you will have knowledge that this is a phrase that means that this occurrence is very unusual. So the use of idiomatic phrases will show the examiner that you are very aware that in the English language you can use idioms, meaning words that don't mean, phrases that mean another thing, phrases that seem to be one thing but mean another thing. Okay. You can also use words such as no sooner than this happened, when that, no sooner than. You can also use words such as hardly when. Such kind of English phrases, no sooner than, hardly than, scarcely, like phrases that are not commonly used by non-native speakers. Okay. To spice up your speech, you can also use synonyms. Synonyms such as, I am fond of chicken, to mean that I like chicken. So instead of saying like, you use the word fond of. You can use words such as, I am a clean freak, to mean you are very clean. You can also use a synonym such as cut above the rest, to mean that you are outstanding, or to mean outstanding. So synonyms are words that can easily replace the other word. For example, woman is a synonym to a lady. You can use the word lady in place of the word woman. You can use the word, You can use the word, let me think of a synonym, guys. A synonym. You can use the word blouse to mean t-shirt. Like a man to mean man. You can use the word man or gentleman. They mean the same thing, almost the same things. So make use of synonyms during your speech. You can also use adverbs. Adverbs also are a very good way to show that you have a wide range of vocabulary. Adverbs include words such as slowly, quickly, completely, abruptly, absolutely, totally, fairly, somewhat, rarely, hardly ever, etc. So adverbs are words that are used to describe a verb. For example, she was running, she was talking quickly. She was running very fast. She woke up abruptly. She talks slowly. Those marks were fairly done. Like, it is just, these are words used to describe a verb, how a verb was done. For example, she aced that test completely. You get what I mean? Adverbs. During your speech, if you realize that you have run out of a point or you've gotten confused, please feel free to pause for 1 minute, or not for 1 minute, for a second or two to gather your thoughts, because running out of ideas or being hesitant is a normal thing. It can happen to anyone. So please do not panic. You can use fillers during this time. Fillers are words such as well, oh my, like you're just adding a word as you think of the next thing to say. Like you can say like, well, that's a very, very good question. Well, while you say these statements, you shall be thinking of what to say next. Or you say something like, that's a very, very good point. Like, these fillers are words used to buy you time in order to think of what to say next. Okay. And as I said, if you have a question that you don't really know the answer to, or you don't really understand, or the question has caught you off guard, you can A, ask the examiner to repeat or elaborate the question. This is in the case whereby maybe you are not sure if you've understood the examiner well. You're not sure if you've misunderstood his or her question. Please do not shy off. You can just ask the examiner to repeat. You can say something like, kindly, can you repeat that question? I have not quite understood it. Or you tell the examiner, I think I'm not quite familiar with that context. Can you rephrase the question? So you can either ask the examiner to repeat or rephrase the question if you've not understood it. But in the case that you've understood it and still you don't know the answer to the question, as I said earlier, there's no need to panic, because the examiner is testing your ability to communicate and not your knowledge. So you'll just politely tell the examiner that at the moment I'm not really familiar with that topic. I have not come across it during my education, and yeah, but after this I can go research on that topic. Yes. But as I said, no one word answers. Even if you don't know the answer, please do not answer using one single word or one single plain statement. Just keep on talking. Every answer you give in IELTS speaking test should be at least 3 statements. Two, it should be the bare minimum. So 2 or 3 statements are good answers. Always remember, your knowledge is not being tested. There are no right or wrong answers, but even if there are no right or wrong answers, you should always remember the examiner also wants to know if you understood the context of the question. So, as much as there are no right or wrong answers, you cannot pick an answer that is completely unrelated to the question. Like completely, as in, you rather say you do not know the answer to the question and you've not come across this kind of topic before. You rather say that other than give a completely different answer, because the examiner will assume that you do not know English because you didn't understand, like you don't know about context in English. Yeah. And as I said, it's almost a guarantee you might encounter a question you don't know the answer to. So please always have an answer. Or before you go to the exam room, please know how you're going to answer questions you don't know the answer to, especially in part 3. Okay. To spice up your speech, you can also use cohesive sentences, i.e., you can use connectors like, first of all, to kick off, when it comes to dash dash dash, oh well dash dash dash, anyway dash dash dash, in my humble opinion dash dash dash, as far as my point of view is concerned dash dash dash, when it comes to my dash dash dash, I'd say. Like, these are just words to spice up, and they are known as connectors or cohesive sentences. Oh, in addition, there are also connectors such as however, more so, in addition to, first of all, secondly, in line with. Words such as those, or simple sentences such as those, are used to spice up your speech. Okay, another thing before you go to the exam room, please prepare flexible templates that you are very sure can be used in almost any setting. These templates really boost up your confidence and come really in handy when maybe you do not have any fillers, or maybe you just want to spice up your speech. They can be used flexibly, like they can be used no matter what kind of question you are presented with. Flexible templates include templates such as, I'd like to kick off by telling you dash dash dash. You see, this is a statement that can be used anytime, anywhere. Okay. This took place dash 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 a while back, 2 years ago, last year. So this is a flexible template that can be used whereby you want to describe a point in time, and it's a guarantee that during your questions you're going to have a question that needs you to answer in regards to time. So you'll say, this took place dash dash dash. It's one of dash dash. It's one of the places, it's one of the memories, it's one of the nicest places. Like, it's one of is the template that can be used anywhere. I'd like to kick off by is the template that can be used anywhere. This took place is the template that can be used anywhere. So before this, you should prepare like at least 5 to 6 templates that can be used anywhere, regardless of the question you've been presented with, because these templates are a guarantee that you'll have shown the examiner the range of your English vocabulary no matter the question. Like, this is a sure bet. Yes. Some tips to increase your general knowledge in IELTS speaking should be such as watching BBC News, reading Wikipedia. Like, you can try to watch British movies, British news such as BBC, read Wikipedia. But even as you read something like Wikipedia, always remember that written English is very different from spoken English, because the way a written statement will be is not the same way you're going to talk about it in a normal setting conversation. Because if you read a journal, the same way the journal is written is not the same way you could narrate the journal to a friend. So also, don't copy and paste written material, because sometimes written material is not the same way as spoken English. Like spoken English is more relaxed and flexible. So sometimes if you do this, the examiner might note that this is copied. This is a copied statement or copied paragraph. Like it's as if you read it somewhere and now you're narrating it. So for example, there's no way I'm going to give you for example, we all know probably the examiner in part 1 is going to ask you, where do you live? So before the exam, you go and write down the answer and then you copy it. Guys, when the examiner during the exam date asks you this question and then you try to narrate exactly how you wrote it down, the examiner is just going to note that there's something off, because the way you're going to speak about it will be in such a robotic and serious and relaxed way that it will not sound like your natural English language. I hope I made sense. Like, don't go to the exam room trying to cram written content. Just go there knowing that you have the ability to speak English. Yeah, don't try to cram. Just the more you practice, the more you'll get comfortable with being asked different questions, and the more you'll get comfortable with answering them in the right amount of speed and in the right amount of good ideas, like at the right amount of speed and with the correct ideas. So yeah, just practice. Okay guys, we've come to the end of our segment, and as we wind up this segment, I'd like to say that the IELTS speaking is all about practice. The more you practice, the luckier you become. So please practice each segment, each part of the speaking test, and please do not underestimate the speaking test, because you rather overestimate it and it becomes the best performed module, rather than you underestimate it and you perform averagely while you would have performed extraordinarily. You see, I use the word extraordinarily. So this is one word that you can use to spice up your speech. Okay guys, that is all for this class. See you in our next class, and bye.